In the wild hills of 16th century Hungary, surrounded by dark forests and distant villages, stood a castle that would one day become infamous, Countess Castle. Its stone walls held secrets. Its corridors echoed with screams, if the legends are true. This was the home of Elizabeth Báthory. To the world, she was a noblewoman. To history, she became something else entirely, the Blood Countess of Countess. Elizabeth Báthory was born in 1560 into one of the most powerful aristocratic families in Europe. The Báthorys were wealthy, well-connected, and politically influential. Elizabeth's bloodline included kings, warriors, and bishops. From an early age, she showed intelligence beyond her years. She spoke Latin, German, and Greek. She studied politics, religion, and science. She was not only beautiful but educated, an unusual combination for women of her time. At 15, she married Count Ferenc Nadasdy, a nobleman known for his ferocity in battle. Their marriage was strategic, uniting two powerful families. While Ferenc was away at war, Elizabeth managed their vast estates with absolute authority. She became known for her discipline and strong rule, but behind the castle walls, rumors began to grow. Servant girls sent to the castle were never seen again. Villagers spoke in hushed tones of strange rituals, of screams at night, and girls running barefoot through the woods, bleeding before vanishing into the dark. Then came the legend. One day, it said, Elizabeth struck a young maid hard enough to draw blood. A drop landed on her hand. When she wiped it away, she thought the skin beneath looked younger. From that moment on, a terrifying obsession was born. To preserve her youth through the blood of virgins. She believed blood could keep her beautiful forever. Elizabeth began luring young girls to her castle, mostly peasants and servants. But over time, even daughters of minor nobles began to disappear. The acts she committed, according to witness accounts, were horrifying. Girls were beaten, burned, frozen, starved. Some were locked in iron cages or stabbed with needles. Others were drained of blood, their bodies discarded like garbage. It was said that Elizabeth bathed in blood, that she feasted on flesh, that she laughed while others screamed. She was aided by loyal servants who carried out her orders. Some say they tortured victims for her pleasure. Others say they simply followed orders in fear, and the number of dead. Some say 30, others say 300. One infamous account claims she murdered over 600 girls. But eventually, even a countess could not silence the cries for justice. In 1610, King Matthias II ordered an investigation. Count Georgi Thurso, a relative of Elizabeth's, was sent to Countess. What he found shocked even hardened soldiers. Bodies were discovered buried near the castle. Prisoners were found chained and emaciated. Blood was smeared on walls and floors. Some victims had fresh wounds. Others were long dead. Elizabeth was arrested. Her accomplices were tried, tortured, and executed. But Elizabeth, being of noble blood, was never officially tried. Executing her would have caused a political scandal. Instead, she was sentenced to solitary confinement. Her windows were bricked shut. Her door was sealed. She was left alone in a tiny room within her castle to rot in silence. She died 4 years later, in 1614, alone, forgotten, entombed in darkness. But was she truly guilty, or was Elizabeth Báthory the victim of a political trap? Historians still debate her guilt. Some believe she was framed by men who coveted her land and wealth. After all, King Matthias owed her a large sum of money. Seizing her property may have solved two problems at once. Much of the evidence against her was hearsay. Many testimonies came under torture. And the infamous journal that supposedly listed 650 victims, it has never been found. Was she a monster or a woman punished for being too powerful in a world ruled by men? The truth may lie somewhere in between. Perhaps she was cruel, capable of punishment, cold in her treatment of servants. But perhaps the blood-bathing legend was just that, a legend. A grotesque tale spun to bring down a woman who dared rule without a man. What we do know is that Elizabeth Báthory became a symbol. Her name endures in folklore, horror films, In Gothic novels, she inspired tales of vampires and wicked queens. She became a warning, a myth, a monster. But behind the legend is a woman, smart, ruthless, feared, and possibly betrayed. Elizabeth Báthory, the Blood Countess,